So I've been wanting to make this for a little while, but this is the first of my invasion design series, where basically I'm going to go over areas in the game that are fun to invade at the appropriate levels, or really any level, and just talk a little bit about what makes them good levels to invade, good places, good choke points, good areas to make stands, good areas to plunge, and stuff like that. So, first one I'm doing, surprisingly, is Profaned Capital, just because I have a lot of recent footage invading with my solo level 60 character. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. This is the first area going into the Profaned Capital. Doesn't really feature much. It features a large open area and a very big gargoyle with a flame spear. That's kind of like your intro to the Profaned Capital, is this gargoyle jumps onto the bridge, and then most parties draw them back to this open area to fight them. So if you think you can kill the party here, go ahead and do it with the support of the gargoyle. I'm going to take a quick second to highlight the bonfire area, simply because of its height, because of the depth of it, you have like enough of a chance to actually fight a host, and there's also these little hiding spaces here if you want to hide from a party. But nonetheless, you actually have a chance to actually fight a party up here, because you can make an escape with the Silver Cat Ring if need be. But I'm not going to really take that chance. I'm just going to end this invasion before it even starts. But just to highlight, this bonfire area has height, and as an invader, you should use that to your advantage. So right outside the bonfire area is this nice little path to nowhere. It's a good spawn point unless the party already knows where you are. Then your goal is to get back to the gargoyle up top. So I'm going to use an R2 to pop their shields open right here, which is a rare use move, but does a lot of stamina damage, especially with two-handed greatswords. My goal here is really just to try to draw them back to the gargoyle, hit them with turn and burns here and there, but also get enough space where I can put a ring on that is not the Silver Cat Ring, because I'm not going to be using that right now. This party's not, it's a party that maybe you could take just like 1v2 in with no mob support at all, but I'm not really going to take that chance. Even though the host is using the Earthhill Straightsword and Pyromancies, which have 0 overlap with their stat requirements, I still have to respect the R1 spam of the Earthhill Straightsword and like how dangerous that is as an invader. I mean, it's the longest straightsword, one of the longest straightswords in the game, and it inflicts frostbite, which is not great for your stamina. So, I'm gonna try to get that gargoyle involved. As an invader, you should really think more of this area as a kind of like preemptive start to the level. Like, the level hasn't really started yet. We have one enemy and a very flat space, and a way for the party to get back to their bonfire. So it's not really quite, they're not committed to playing the level yet, so you kind of have to work to draw them through the level if you're committed to doing that. This guy's going to run with his shield up, and I'm going to just backstab him, because that's what you should do when people give you their back. Host is going to do a couple very predictable things, like with a Hail Parry, and then what else do hosts do when their phantoms die? They disconnect. Now, a little deeper into the level, we have this great sniping spot, which is right by a spawn point. So if you have the Obscuring Ring, and if you have something like the Millwood Greatbow, this is a great place to knock people off that little ledge into the poison pool below. And if you get a headshot, you can just kill them in one hit. This is yet another thing I really love about the Profaned Capital. They give you all these vantage points, so you can either use them to scout out the party, or to snipe them like I did here. Now the next area the party is going to advance into is this poison pool below. And yeah, I know it might be a little bit of a meme that Miyazaki keeps putting these poison swamps in his games, but I think they kind of highlight an advantage that invaders have, which is preparation. This blue here dies because of the toxic that he was not prepared to deal with, but I have tons of purple moss clumps in my inventory because this is something that I was prepared to do. Invaders, let's be honest, invaders don't have a ton of advantages in this game. But we kind of have to dig deep to find the ones that we do, and preparation has got to be the biggest one that we do have. Blues don't really get to choose who they're helping or where they're helping, right? They get to choose their soul range, and that's about it. But invaders get to choose exactly where they're invading. So if you aren't, coming prepared to an invasion, that's your own fault. I think this toxic pool is kind of designed for invaders to deal with that. Unfortunately, this great fight kind of devolves into a nightmare, because the host's Wi-Fi just totally gives out on him. And I think this is like the one legit DC I've seen in a long time where that the connection just kind of dies without the Ethernet getting pulled out of the wall. So unfortunate connections aside, still going to focus on preparation and this little pool right here. This little walkway and ladder up here is kind of the most crucial part of the level for me. It's like a make or break point. If you can't really stop the party here, it's going to be much more difficult, I think, later on. So it's kind of like this choke point that you can control. That's why you bring throwing knives, so you can knock people off this ladder and prevent them from escaping. Again, preparedness is the name of the game for invaders. I started carrying throwing knives on this character entirely because of all these ladders in the Profaned capital. This poison pool area is still, again, doing work. It's forcing people to, kind of break off from the fight and heal. And the monsters in the poison pit also do good enough damage that they can knock off people who are trying to heal as well. Again, to harp some more on preparation, here I am on top of the roof of this little church in the Profaned capital. I'm going to get hit with an Undead Hunter Charm, and I need to make a quick escape. So Silver Cat Ring just off the side, and no one's really going to follow me down here. I have more than enough time to get away, and even if they did have the Silver Cat, I would still be able to get out of the reach of their weapons. Now they're going to try to shoot me, and I'm going to try to shoot them back, but I just learned that bows can't be pointed up too far in Dark Souls 3, which is kind of a strange decision to me. In these kind of situations, ladders can be total safe zones for you. You can heal on a ladder or wait for a status effect to wear off on it. Also, people can't attack you while you're getting out of the iframes of getting off the ladder. So this guy's going to try to hit me and fall off, and I'm just going to plunge attack him right back. And now I've gotten rid of a phantom, so now it's just me and the fat rolling host, which is not going to be a problem at all. And then I can fight them on this small ledge here, because if I fall off, I have the Silver Cat Ring, and they definitely do not if they're still fat rolling at this point in the game. The host doesn't fall off, but it doesn't totally matter here. There's been some debate in the community, not really like a huge debate or anything like that, but just there's different philosophies to it. And people like Scared of the Tryhard advocate for killing hosts before phantoms, or while they still have phantoms. I disagree, because I'm not invading the same people that Scared of the Tryhard is invading. I'm invading, co-opers. People are actually trying to play the level, not necessarily gankers all the time. So I'm going to go after the phantom 9 times out of 10 just to make my job a little easier. This is also a great spot, like I mentioned before, because I can fall off, but they can't. And so they're going to play worse because they're in a tight situation. Then it's just you and the host, and for me, that's a million times easier than fighting 2 people at once. So I'll take a solo host rather than a whole party at once. And also it extends the fight longer, which I enjoy. Now back to level design. From Software gave us all these ledges. They could have easily just made this overhang drop all the way to the ground, but they made it drop down to this ledge for plunging attacks, right? Which is a great way to panic and maybe kill a member of a party. Right below that is yet another ledge for exact same things. Now this kind of room leads into the hand monsters. I think they're called like monstrosities of sin. They are not the greatest of invader buddies, because apparently their grab attacks can also get you. But they're really hard enemies to kill in general, so they're good just for providing a little cover, so I can maybe like switch out a ring or something like that. Although they can trap you in this room, and then you're forced to stare at their big hairy ass while the party runs away from you. So the party runs away, but that's no problem because we have throwing knives, and again we're going to knock them off the ladder, which is again about preparedness. So while we're going to fight them, it's also important to note that the host also did not get knocked off the ladder. They're still up there. And that's going to play to our advantage, because we're going to fight their phantom down here. And they're going to try to plunge attack us right about here. Except that just kills them. So not only did the verticality work for your own plunging attacks, but it can also kill hosts with their own plunging attacks. Some true galaxy brain play from that host. So the last area that I really wanted to cover for the Profaned capital is the area right before Yorm's boss fight, which is a hard area to invade, not because there's anything exceptionally difficult about it, but just because the vast majority of parties that you're going to fight are just going to run straight for the boss door. So this party killed that gargoyle pretty quickly because he had a blunt weapon, which is going to just melt that gargoyle. So that was like pretty much my only support. I catch a bit of a break here because this wizard is going to block with a parry shield and get immediately guard broken. And then I'm just able to finish him off with a quick R1 before getting plunged on. which is really not a bad trade. So anyways, and now it's a solo host who surprisingly doesn't DC. But he is going to heal and constantly get punished for it. I don't think there's a single Estus that he takes in this fight that I don't put him in the blender for. However, I am also kind of making the mistake of not being able to roll catch him with the hand axe, just not being able to finish him off. He's like constantly at super low health, and does a remarkably good job of not totally panicking, but does not do a great job of spacing his heals out. Again, as you can see, I'm just loving this hand axe greatsword setup. It's just an absolute blast. I've also been working on one other thing, which is my rolling backstabs. I've been getting a lot better at those, getting a lot more of them, and they really make a lot of fights a lot more manageable than they seemed before. This host is going to get the bright idea of running away, which is not a bad strategy, except for the Profaned Flame, which is going to shoot fireballs at him. I get the throwing knives ready, just because I know he's going to head to the one thing he can, which is that ladder, but I'm really not going to let him do that. Oh, there's the one heal that wasn't punished by me. But anyways, he's going to get on this ladder. I'm going to let him get a good ways up so I can maybe force him to take a little bit of fall damage on the way down, which he doesn't, but I'm still going to hit him with the Undead Hunter Charm. And now that he can't heal, this fight's pretty much over. Well, that's about it for me for today. Thanks for watching. I had a lot of fun making this video. Let me know if you guys like this more focus on design rather than just like, here's my cool invasion. But just like, let me know what you guys like. Because I've been having a lot of fun making videos lately. So, anyways, thanks for watching, guys.